I never expected a random Tuesday afternoon call from my mother to completely upend my life. Her voice trembled as she spoke, something I hadn't heard since Dad's heart scare 3 years ago. "Eliza, you need to come home. Now." My name is Eliza, and I should have known better than to drop everything and rush to my parents' house. But there I was, 20 minutes later, standing in their driveway while my sister Vivian's soon-to-be ex-husband Derek loaded boxes into his SUV. "You're really doing this?" Vivian's voice carried across the lawn, that familiar sharp edge making my stomach twist. "You're abandoning your family?" Derek slammed the trunk shut. "Family? That's rich, Viv. When was the last time you actually acted like we were one?" I hung back by my car, caught between wanting to help and knowing I should stay out of it. Through the living room window, I could see my parents hovering anxiously. Mom wrung her hands while Dad paced, both probably expecting me to fix this somehow. They always did. "Annalisa?" I turned to find my niece Chloe standing on the front porch, her eyes red and puffy. 16, she looked so much like Vivian at that age it hurt, same dark hair, same green eyes. Different spirit though, thank God. "Hey, sweetie," I said, opening my arms. She practically ran into them. "Did you know?" she whispered against my shoulder. "About Dad leaving?" "No, honey. I just found out." Vivian spotted us then, her mascara-streaked face hardening. "Oh, perfect. Course you'd show up now, Eliza." Always swooping in to play the hero. "Mom, stop," Chloe protested, but Vivian was already advancing across the lawn. "This is your fault, you know," she spat. "Little Miss Perfect with her perfect life and perfect career. You just had to outshine everyone, didn't you? Make the rest of us look bad?" Derek paused halfway into his car. "Jesus Christ, Viv. Your sister showing up to help isn't why I'm leaving, and you know it. Don't you dare defend her." I held Chloe tighter as she trembled against me. This wasn't about me, not really. Never was. But as I watched my sister's marriage implode on our parents' front lawn, I knew with crushing certainty that I'd just been dragged back into Vivian's orbit. And this time the fallout would be nuclear. Derek's car pulled away, leaving silence in its wake. That's when Mom finally emerged from the house, her voice wavering as she called out, "Eliza, darling, we need to talk about what you're going to do to fix this." That night, I sat in my apartment staring at my phone, Mom's words still echoing in my head. Fix this. Like I was somehow responsible for Vivian's marriage falling apart. My fiancé Nate brought me a glass of wine, his presence steady and reassuring. "You're thinking about the science fair, aren't you?" He knew me too well. The memory hit me like a punch to the gut, 14 years old, standing in front of my destroyed project the night before the competition. Months of work ruined, my carefully constructed solar system model shattered across the garage floor. "I worked so hard on that," I said, taking a long sip of wine. And when I told Mom and Dad that Vivian had knocked it over, they didn't believe me. They never believed me. My phone buzzed, a text from Chloe. "Can I come stay with you this weekend?" Mom's being impossible. Before I could respond, another message popped up, this one from Vivian. "Don't you dare enable her running away. She needs to be home with her family." You know what the worst part was? I turned to Nate. After the science fair, Vivian told everyone how gracious she'd been, helping me rebuild my project overnight. She got so much praise for being such a wonderful big sister. Meanwhile, I got a C because the rushed replacement looked like garbage. Nate sat beside me, his hand finding mine. "You don't have to keep playing this role, Eliza. The responsible one who fixes everything." My phone buzzed again. To Mom this time, "Chloe's asking to stay with you. Please say yes, Vivian needs space to process everything." "That's exactly what they want, though," I said, feeling the familiar weight settle on my shoulders. "They want me to be the backup mom, the mediator, the fixer, but the moment I actually stand up for myself, I'm the bad guy." Another text from Chloe made my heart sink. "Please, Annalisa. I can't handle another night of Mom crying and throwing Dad's things around." You know what's really messed up? I set my wine down harder than intended. Vivian's the one who cheated. She's the one who drove Derek away. But somehow I'm still getting blamed for not doing enough to help her. Nate squeezed my hand. So, what are you going to do? I stared at my phone at the competing demands from my family. The old pattern would be to give in to try to keep everyone happy. But as I thought about my ruined science project, about years of similar incidents, something shifted inside me. I'm going to pick up Chloe, I said finally. But this time it's going to be on my terms. Chloe's weekend stay turned into a week, then 2. I didn't mind, my spare room was better than the war zone at home. But when I stopped by Vivian's house to pick up more of Chloe's clothes, I discovered something that made my blood run cold. The house was a mess, unopened mail scattered across the kitchen counter. As I gathered Chloe's things, a past due notice from the mortgage company caught my eye. Then another. And another. Beneath them, a letter from Derek's lawyer about missed alimony payments. What are you doing? I jumped. Vivian stood in the doorway, looking worse than I'd ever seen her. Dark circles under her eyes, unwashed hair, wearing what looked like the same clothes from days ago. Just getting some things for Chloe, I said, trying to keep my voice neutral. Viv, these bills are none of your business. She snatched the papers from my hand. Did Mom and Dad send you to spy on me? No one sent me. I'm worried about Chloe? Vivian's laugh was bitter. My daughter? The one you're trying to steal just like you stole everything else. My phone buzzed, a text from Chloe. Did you find my chemistry notebook? I need it for tomorrow's test. I'm not stealing anyone, I said, reaching for the notebook I'd spotted on the coffee table. I'm just trying to help. Help? Vivian blocked my path. You want to help? Then give me the $20,000 Derek's demanding. Or better yet, convince our parents to stop making excuses and actually support their daughter for once. I stared at her. What are you talking about? They've always supported you. They're still supporting you. Right, because you're so perfect you can't even see it. She grabbed Chloe's notebook, flipping through it. Did you know they paid for your college but told me I had to take loans? That they bought your first car while I had to work 2 jobs for mine? That's not, I stopped. Was that true? I'd never thought about it. And now, Vivian continued, they're helping with your wedding while I'm about to lose my house. But sure, keep telling yourself you're just helping. My phone buzzed again. Mom this time. Vivian says you're harassing her. Why can't you just let her have some peace? I felt the familiar twist in my gut, the one that always came with their selective memory of events. But before I could respond, Vivian pulled something from Chloe's notebook, a college application form. What's this? Her voice went deadly quiet. She's applying to schools in California? Behind my back, the look in her eyes told me everything I needed to know about what would happen next. And suddenly I realized this wasn't just about Vivian anymore. This was about breaking a cycle that had been destroying our family for decades. I found my parents waiting on my doorstep the next morning. Mom clutched her designer handbag like a shield while Dad stood with his hands in his pockets, looking everywhere but at me. We need to discuss Chloe's college applications, Mom said as I let them in. And your interference. Chloe was still asleep in the spare room. I kept my voice low. You mean helping her plan her future? Vivian called us in tears. Dad finally spoke. Said you've been poisoning Chloe against her, encouraging her to move across the country. The familiar defensiveness rose in my throat, but before I could respond, my phone lit up with a text from Derek. Heads up, Vivian's lawyer just contacted me. She's filing for full custody, using Chloe's stay with you as evidence of parental alienation. My hands started shaking. Did you know about this? Mom's expression said everything. Of course you did. I laughed, but it came out hollow. Let me guess, you're here to convince me to send Chloe home so Vivian won't look bad in court? We're here because we're worried about both our daughters, Mom said. Vivian's struggling and you're making it worse by. By what? Giving Chloe a safe place to stay? Helping her apply to colleges? I pulled up the photos I'd taken of Vivian's past due notices. Have you seen these? Do you even know what's really going on? Dad's face darkened. We know Vivian's having some financial difficulties. That's why we've decided to help her with the mortgage payments. The same mortgage payments you told her she had to handle on her own 3 months ago? Another text lit up my phone, Nate, reminding me about our wedding venue appointment that afternoon. The appointment my parents didn't even know about because they'd been so focused on Vivian. Eliza, Mom reached for my hand. We know you mean well, but… A door opened behind them. Chloe stood there in her pajamas, eyes wide. Is Mom really filing for custody? The silence was deafening. I'll handle this. Mom started toward Chloe, but I stepped between them. No, I said, surprising myself with how steady my voice was. I think you've both handled enough. I have a wedding appointment to get to, and Chloe has homework. We can discuss this later. Eliza. Later, I repeated, opening my front door. As they left, I caught Dad's whispered comment to Mom. I told you she'd be difficult about this. Just like when she refused to give Vivian her college fund. Wait, what college fund? The text from Vivian came while I was trying on my wedding dress. Chloe needs a dress for graduation. The one she wants is $2,000. I told her you'd buy it. I stared at my reflection in the boutique mirror, the ivory lace suddenly feeling too tight. Behind me, the seamstress paused her pinning. Everything okay, miss? Before I could answer, my phone buzzed again. A photo this time, Chloe in a designer dress, looking uncomfortable as Vivian beamed beside her. She loves it. I'll send you the store details. I need a minute, I told the seamstress, carefully stepping down from the platform. In the dressing room, another message appeared. Unless you're too busy playing bride to help your only niece? My hand shook as I dialed Chloe's number. She answered in a whisper. I'm in the bathroom at the store. Mom's gone crazy. Did you ask for this dress? No. She dragged me here after school. Said you owed her because… Chloe's voice cracked. Because you stole her college fund. The mention of the mysterious college fund made my stomach clench. What are you talking about? She said Grandma and Grandpa set aside money for both of you, but you somehow got all of it. That's why she couldn't afford college. A pause. Is that true? Of course not. I had student loans just like… Eliza. Vivian's voice cut through the background. Chloe, who are you talking to? Call ended abruptly. Moments later, another text. The store closes in an hour. Don't disappoint her like you disappointed me. I sat there in my wedding dress, feeling the walls close in. This wasn't about a graduation dress. This was about something bigger, something that had been festering for years. My phone lit up again, Mom this time. Vivian says you're refusing to help with Chloe's graduation. After everything we've done for you. That's when something inside me snapped. I stepped out of the dressing room, still wearing my wedding gown. I need to leave, I told the startled seamstress. But first, I need you to take a photo of me in this dress. The full amount I paid for it, too, if you don't mind. Of course, but… Trust me, I said, positioning myself in front of the mirror. My sister needs to see exactly what she's about to destroy. I sent the photo to Vivian with a message. You want to talk about money? Let's talk. I'm done playing your games. Her response was immediate. You really want to do this? Fine. But remember, you started it. No, I thought, finally understanding what I had to do. You started this years ago. I'm just finishing it. 3 days before my wedding, I walked into my apartment to find the garment bag missing from my closet. The empty hanger swayed gently, mocking me. I knew exactly where my wedding dress had gone before I even checked my phone. There it was, a photo from Mom. Chloe wearing my dress at what looked like a graduation dress fitting, Vivian beaming beside her. The caption read, "Doesn't she look beautiful? So generous of you to let her wear it. Let her wear it." My hands wouldn't stop shaking as I called Nate. "She took my wedding dress." "What?" "Who?" He stopped. "Vivian? She's having it altered for Chloe's graduation." The words felt surreal coming out of my mouth. My mother is acting like this was planned. Like I agreed to this. Another text came through, Vivian this time. "Chloe was so touched when Mom told her you wanted her to have your dress. Really brought us closer together. Funny how things work out." I drove to my parents' house in a daze, barely registering the traffic lights. Mom answered the door with that familiar look of disappointed concern. "I wondered when you'd show up," she said, stepping aside. "Really, Eliza, if you didn't want Chloe to wear the dress, you should have said something before the alterations started." The dress was laid out on their dining room table, its ivory lace now marked with pins and chalk lines. Vivian stood over it, scissors in hand. "We're taking it in at the waist," she said without looking up. "Chloe's slimmer than you." "This is my wedding dress." "Was your wedding dress?" Vivian finally met my eyes. "But you have a successful career, right? You can afford another one. Unless you'd rather disappoint your only niece." "Where is Chloe?" "At school." "Why?" "Because I want to hear from her that she actually wants this. That she knows what you're doing." Vivian's smile turned sharp. "What I'm doing? You mean like what you did with my college fund?" "There was no college fund." The words burst out of me. "I had loans just like girls." Dad appeared in the doorway, his face grave. "Eliza, your mother, and I think it's best if you leave. You're upsetting your sister, and after everything she's been through." I stared at them, my sister with her scissors, my parents with their selective memory, my wedding dress being carved up like so many other pieces of my life. "You know what?" My voice was surprisingly steady. "Keep the dress. Keep everything. But you should know Chloe's been accepted to Berkeley. Full scholarship." "She asked me not to tell you, Vivian, but I guess we're all done keeping secrets now." The scissors clattered to the table as I walked out, leaving my family and my ruined wedding dress behind. Chloe found me at the coffee shop where I'd been hiding since leaving my parents' house. Her eyes were red, hands clutching her phone with my text about Berkeley still displayed. "Mom's destroying your dress," she said, sliding into the booth. "She won't stop cutting it. She keeps saying it's what you wanted." I wrapped my hands around my cold coffee. "Did you know it was my wedding dress?" "No. God, no. She told me you bought it for my graduation. That it was a surprise." Chloe's voice cracked. "I would never have let her. I mean, your wedding is in 3 days. 2 days now." I checked my phone, 15 missed calls from Mom, a string of texts from Vivian about ungrateful sisters and stolen opportunities. They found out about Berkeley. I heard the screaming from outside. Chloe pulled something from her bag, a familiar piece of ivory lace, carefully folded. I grabbed this before Mom could destroy it completely. "It's from the train, I think." My throat tightened as I touched the fabric. "You know she's not really angry about the dress, right? Or Berkeley. This is about the college fund that doesn't exist?" I looked up sharply. "Dad told me," Chloe continued, "before he left, about how Grandma and Grandpa remortgaged their house to help Mom after her gambling debts. How they've been covering for her for years." Pieces clicked into place, the mounting bills, Derek's departure, the desperate grab for my dress. "She's losing everything," Chloe whispered. "The house, her marriage, and now me. But instead of dealing with it, she's trying to destroy your wedding. Like somehow that will fix things." My phone buzzed, Nate asking where I was. Sweet, steady Nate who deserved better than this chaos. "I have an idea," I said slowly, touching the saved piece of lace. "But I need your help." and it might make your mom even angrier. I'm listening. What if we... The coffee shop door chimed. Vivian stood there, mascara streaked down her face, clutching what remained of my wedding dress, now a tangle of cut fabric and loose threads. Is this what you wanted? She held up the ruined dress. To turn my own daughter against me? To destroy my family like I destroyed your precious dress? Other customers turned to stare. Chloe grabbed my hand under the table. No, I said, standing. This is what you wanted. To make me feel as lost as you do. But here's the thing, Viv, I'm not lost. And neither is Chloe. I pulled out the piece of saved lace. We can't fix the dress, but maybe we can make something new from what's left. Something for both of us. If you'll let us try. Vivian's hands trembled, the ruined dress slipping from her grasp. Why would you even want to? Because we're sisters, I said simply. And I'm tired of letting the past destroy our future. My wedding dress wasn't salvageable, but something better emerged from its ruins. Using the saved piece of lace, my designer friend created 2 matching shawls, one for my new wedding dress and one for Chloe's graduation gown. Sometimes broken things can become something beautiful if you're willing to see them differently. Vivian didn't attend the wedding. Neither did our parents. But as I walked down the aisle, I caught sight of Chloe in the front row, her eyes bright with tears. That piece of transformed lace draped across her shoulders. Nate waited for me at the altar, steady and sure, just like he'd been through everything. The morning of my wedding, I'd found an envelope slipped under my door. Inside was a check for $20,000 and a note in Vivian's handwriting. I'm starting therapy. And Gamblers Anonymous. The money is from selling Mom and Dad's lake house, my share of it anyway. You deserved better than a sister who tried to destroy your happiness because she couldn't face her own failures. I'm sorry. I tucked the note away without telling anyone. Some healing needs to happen quietly, away from the spotlight of family drama. After the ceremony, Chloe hugged me tight. Mom's really trying, she whispered. She helped me fill out my housing forms for Berkeley yesterday, without crying or anything. That's good, I said, straightening her shawl. Sometimes the hardest part is letting people change at their own pace. Will you come to my graduation next month? Wouldn't miss it. Later, during the reception, Derek pulled me aside. Vivian showed me the therapy receipts, he said. She's doing the work. Really doing it this time. Are you thinking about... No, he cut in gently. Some bridges stay burned, but maybe new ones can be built. As Nate and I drove away from our reception, my phone lit up with a text from Vivian. Chloe showed me pictures of the shawls. They're beautiful. Thank you for seeing something worth saving in what I tried to destroy. I showed the message to Nate. Think she means the dress or our relationship? Both, probably. He squeezed my hand. You okay? I thought about the ruined wedding dress, about years of manipulation and hurt, about the slow, careful work of rebuilding trust, about how sometimes the strongest bonds come from choosing to see people as they are, not as we wish they were. Yeah, I said, watching the sunset paint the sky in new colors. I think we all will be. My phone buzzed again, Mom this time, but I let it go to voicemail. Some boundaries need to stay firm, even as others soften. That's the thing about family. Sometimes love means knowing when to hold on and when to let go.